Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Salton Sea.
This is a new game from designer David Bernal, published by The Weird Games.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 2 hours.
This is the new big release in a small box from The Weird Games. First release, I think, over this year, 2024. This is a review copy of the game, so you know that before going in. In Salton Sea, you are a drilling company trying to drill resources and process them into geothermal energy and lithium batteries, selling those to different markets or fulfilling contracts for different companies, trying to be the person who earns the most points throughout the game. We're not doing a full overview, as you know. We're just going to go briefly into what you're going to do in the game. The game is going to be like this. We haven't set it up completely, just so you know it. There's supposed to be quite a few rows of cards here, but still the footprint is pretty small. And you need a place for these are supposed to be this way, but there's not enough space in this so you can actually see it. Salton Sea is in its core a worker placement game, where all your worker placement spots is basically on your own board and also on the cards you're going to get. We're going to talk more about that in the gameplay. So on my turn, I'm going to take a worker that I have available. I'm going to place him an action, and I'm going to do that action. There's a couple of different places I can place on the board and also on the cards. There's going to be actions on the money cards, and there's going to be possible actions on the different science cards that you can get as well. What you're trying to do is to get these claim cards so that you can start drilling down into the mountain, and then you can extract the resources, and then you can process the resources, and then you can spend them. That is kind of the loop you are going through. And of course, the goal of the game is to do that the best way possible, the most efficient way possible, so that you are the person who is the coolest and gets the most points. Because it's hard to do these things because the drill is going to get broken, and if it has enough damage, you will have to heal it and you'll lose loads of points for that. When you process, you can overwork your workers, which is not kind of nice to do. But we will do it in this game because it's good in the game.
We do it for the points.
Yes, and not for profit, but for points. And when you do that, they don't want to work anymore, so you can't process anything, so you have to heal that damage as well. You have a progress bar. When you move up, it's going to get more workers. You're going to get more space to have resources, because in the beginning, you're not going to have any space for the resources almost. You're going to sell to these different companies. You're going to buy shares from these companies, trying to get some points back for the money the things you sold for them, because they're going to be more worth the more things you sell to them. You're going to do these scoring cards. These are gold cards, are common. Some of them are the end of the game, and some of them are short-term goals, as they're called, which gonna give you points for the person who does it the fastest. That is basically what we're gonna do, talk about in the overview, because now we're gonna go into the other stuff.
The game looks like a classic Euro game, but it's very simplified. I feel like they've used a lot of bright colors, yes. And the player board looks a little like a blueprint. Yeah, spreadsheet. That's a nice word. I like the components in this game, and I also like the cover art.
Oh, yeah,
it's really beautiful. Love the artwork on the cards as well. Very nice, and it's just like always props to De Veer for making these like big games in small boxes, and also I love that it doesn't take up so much space on the table as well.
Yeah, I actually, even though like it looks like a classic game, I feel like it's a pleasant look.
Yeah,
I enjoy the art, I enjoy the colors, because there's so much information. You could have made a bigger board and have more art on it, but I'd rather have it a small footprint game with everything being super clear but still looking nice.
Yes.
The game also has
a rulebook.
It does, and this one is actually pretty long. The whole thing is 43 pages long, but again, it's not that big, like large. Big and large, those are mostly the same thing. And it starts with like a 2-page thing about the theme of the game, which I skipped because I do that.
Theme.
Yes, and I will say that the rulebook is pretty straightforward. It's telling you like how does the game work? What is all of these things you can do? It goes through the whole flow of the game, which is pretty short, like 4 pages, and then it goes into all the different actions, because that is the main thing you're going to do in the game, doing these different actions. And it explains them well with loads of examples. There's like very few things that you will not understand after reading this at one time. The actual rule stops at page 28, then it goes into the solitaire, and then it goes into, after that, like all of the action cards explained, all of the different special tiles, and all of the objective cards and research cards explained, which I think is really very, very nice. So it's a thorough rulebook, I'm going to give it 1 lithium battery.
That is pretty good in this game.
That is one of the best things you can get. We played the game, and it also has player rates.
Yes, it has a little small player rate with just the symbols and also a reference to which page you can consult in the rulebook.
I would say it's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's not telling you, but most of the actions are very simple to remember.
Yes.
Like there's a couple of the symbols, like the enter into a contract and the acquire a drilling license.
Yeah.
Those are almost too similar.
They're very similar.
But you will very quick remember which is which, and then also on the cards.
Every time I have a card which let me do an action, I have to like, okay, that was that one again. Yeah. Okay.
So that's like the only thing. And other than that, like it doesn't explain anything. It just tells you the symbols. And this is a kind of explaining, but then it just tells you where in the rulebook you can read it so you know what to do.
We have played the game with 2 and 3 players, and it has taken us 90 to 150 minutes.
Yes, the first time 3 players. We have only played 2 players after that for reasons we will talk about. But the 3 players, it actually was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Like it didn't bother me that it was long, and I didn't feel, because 2 hours, 2:30 is a bit long. I feel.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like it was long because I was waiting for my turn all the time.
No.
It's just because you are doing a lot of things in the game. There's a lot of turns.
Yes.
I didn't feel like we didn't have a lot of AP. Like it wasn't a game where we were like, oh, we're thinking so much sometimes. But most of the time, you're doing this, you're placing a circle, you're moving this one up. Done. That's kind of my action.
Yeah, they're small turns.
Very small turns. And I would say already now, as like a little sneak preview for what's coming in the next 5 minutes, that it's best for 2 people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you didn't want to say anything about that, so now let's go to the other.
Because we're going to talk about it now.
Yeah,
aren't we?
We're going to talk about it now. Let's talk about the gameplay. And this is a worker placement game where you only block for yourself.
Yes. And you have always do have the opportunity to do whatever you want on your player board. You have these basic actions that you can do, and you will also have probably some money on your hand, hopefully.
Or else you're going to be in a bad space.
As you can see here also, you have then more action spaces that so if I wanted to do this action, I will put this down. Now it's not a money anymore. Now I can put it there. So that makes me also that I can do that action multiple times on my turn. If I really wanted to do that more times, I can spend 1 money and I can do like copy one of the actions that I've done. So you have a lot of possibilities here, so not a lot of interaction in that aspect of the game.
Most of like these actions are the worst. And then the card actions, when you use like the money actions, those are the best actions. So you are trying to, it feels like for me to use this and using this like a last resort if you need to do the action again and you don't have the action cards you want to do. We have, like I just said, like you're only blocking yourself. And I know I said that for like a couple, 3 games lately.
Yeah.
I don't remember, it was Inventions was one of them, which also didn't have like a lot of interaction in that area. This game doesn't have a lot of interaction, like period. It has some, like because you are gonna have an offer of cards laid out. So if you earn money, and we're gonna talk more about these cards because this is the coolest part of the game, are these money cards. When you earn money, let's say I earn 4 money.
Yeah.
I am then going to be able to take either 4 1 cards, or I will take a 3 and I will take a 1.
Yeah.
And what happens when these are done, you cannot take from the deck, but when somebody uses money, it's going to end up in the discard pile. So when I now, let's say this is here, I'm earning 4 money, I'm like, I don't want this. I will take 1 there and I will take 1 there. So you get a random card, or you can, if I was the person who discarded it, and nobody discarded anything after me, I can also know what card I'm getting.
Yes.
If you have a good enough memory, I usually don't. So that's like a tiny bit of interaction, and it's kind of, you also have the contracts and the research, which I also feel adds to the interaction. Do you agree?
I agree, and those refill at the round and around. Yes, so they will cycle more when there's more players.
I will say that what is the interaction here is if you have specific money cards you want, but more often there's specific contract or research cards you want. So you try to do your thing in an order that lets you do it fast so you can, or you have to think like, okay, is it more important for me to get this contract card or to get this new claim card that just came out? it feels like a game with not too much interaction, but there is absolutely interaction.
Yeah.
There's many times when I played when I was like, oh, it's my turn now. Oh no, you took the card, and that's gonna break my plan. So there is like, it's kind of weird because I don't feel like there's enough interaction to warrant playing it with more than 2 people.
I agree.
For me, because I never missed that third or fourth, I will never play with 4 player when we played it 2 players.
I agree with you. The one thing that I noticed was a little different is these shares, because when you're more players, you will most likely be selling more to these companies, which will make the value go up.
Yeah.
And then when you buy shares, that will be worth more money or points, sorry. So that makes that a more viable strategy, maybe. And also you have these, what do you call it, the scoring cards.
Short-term and long-term goals.
So these are short-term goals which you will race for, which also makes it maybe a little more interesting with more players. But but I didn't miss a third player or a fourth player in our 2-player plays.
I would say bottom line for me, I think that you can enjoy this game with 4 people if you are 4 people who don't mind doing mostly your own puzzle.
Yeah.
And don't mind the game being quite long, and then don't mind, like you like that kind of interaction. And I do. I like that kind of interaction, but the game is already like 90 minutes with 2 people. I can see you taking it down a little bit, but not too much.
Yes.
Because if both players decided to go for a selling strategy and just sell to the same 2 companies every time it was their turn, the game would end, because that is one of the triggers of the game. But if you don't do that, there's a timer with the claim cards that are going down as well. The puzzle here is not amazing. It is kind of pretty straightforward things I've seen before. Getting things that lets you get things, that lets you change those things into other things, and change those things for money or good points.
Yes, I agree. And what makes that puzzle interesting is the aspect with the money that are also action spaces.
Yeah.
So if I need to go to this one place to do this same action every time, that would be maybe suboptimal and wouldn't be that fun. If I get like a super cool action card and get to utilize that, not only will it specialize my strategy, it will also be more efficient and fun, and will change the game a little from play to play. So these money, which are also actions, like the better money, the better actions, those are the game, I feel like.
This is a very unique system.
Yes.
I haven't seen this done in this way before. I actually never seen a game where the money I earn is also better actions, and it is what makes this game exciting. If it was just like a normal worker placement game where you had some shares, you had some special abilities, you had some way to get more workers, you're trying to get points, it would be a fine game. But the money is what elevates this from being, this is something we've seen before, to something we've never seen before. And I love this. Like, this is a super cool puzzle because it's tight. You never have enough money if you don't go for like a heavy money strategy. I haven't managed to do that yet. And you have this 5 money, and I really need 5 money now. I need to spend that, but this action is so good. And what is really cool is that if I use this action this round, I place it down, I place a worker on it, I do that action. At the end of the round, I'm taking the worker in, I'm taking the card back in my hand.
That's so good.
So next round I had that decision again. Do I now want to use it as money, or do I want to use it as an action? And so that is like the balance of that. And these are so good, like the 5, those are going to change, as I said, like change the strategy, changing the things you're doing. I just love that. Another thing, do you have anything more to add about the money cards?
No, I'm just super fan of it.
Yes, really like it. And even though we said like the puzzle is pretty straightforward, it's not like you have to do, we feel, this one thing to win the game.
No, I agree. It feels like you can win without having a lot of shares. You can choose if you want to sell a lot of the things you produce, or if you want to go heavy for these contract cards. I feel like the cards which are scoring, both final scoring and intermediate scoring, will shape the way you play, but also it's fine not being super good at those. I also feel like.
Yeah, if you win them, it might feel that way.
One thing that I feel like you have to do
Yeah.
in this game is increase your capacity. Both
Yes.
getting these workers
Yeah.
and having these storage more.
Yeah.
That is essential in this game. I feel like, but there is more ways to make that happen.
To move this up, there's so many ways. I will say, like as you said, like there's different strategies. It might be hard to win. We haven't played it enough to say, but it might be hard to win like without doing any contracts, especially if there are contract supposed cards here. But it might be cool. I would like to try to do like heavy selling strategy because then you have so much freedom with money and with actions, and also money is going to be worth not that much points, but also worth points. There's one note, like you said, like you don't have to go for this, but if you let the other person win all of them,
that's bad.
Spoiler alert, you're not gonna win the game. So yeah, who is the game for? And what is the weight of the game?
I think that this is a medium plus game. It's not that hard to understand the concepts, but it's a very tight game.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is, as you said, if you don't mind a little lower interaction, or at least very friendly interaction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you want a game that is also solid, very solid for low player counts.
I think you, as I said, you will enjoy it if you don't mind doing this most of the time, and you can play with more people. And I enjoy multiplayer solitaire games, but especially this one, as it's being quite long, for me it's a 2-player game. I could play it with 3, but not 4. So let's do some final thoughts. But before that, if you are new to the channel and you enjoy what we do here, then you can help us out in a very big way by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
And now, final thoughts time for Salton Sea.
I enjoy Salton Sea. I think that the core puzzle in itself can get a little repetitive. You're getting these, what you call it, the claim cards.
Yeah.
You're drilling down, getting more resources available. You extract the resources, you turn them into money or some other resources, and you sell them or fulfill contracts. And you have this same loop every time. So what is interesting about this game is that there's different gold cards every time.
Yeah.
You have this element, which I really enjoy. This is really cool.
Yeah.
And that also challenges my brain a little every time I play it, because as you said, I really want to use this 5 money, but I also want to have this cool action available from round to round. So I think it's a cool game, a good game. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay, Salton Sea is a lot of fun. I enjoy my time playing it. I will say, like I said it a couple of times already, the money is what makes the game. Without these, it would be maximum of a 7. Like it might be a 6.5 maybe.
Yeah.
Without like this system. Of course, it would be a very different game. It might not have been published like this because it would then have been very not interesting, and I don't know like if it only got some money and to use them and these were the actions you had, the game would be very little not so interesting. So this is the part that takes it from a game of a pile of games to a game I'm like, this is a fun game. I would like to keep it in the collection for now. It's one that I would like. I would see it on the shelf and be like, oh, that would be fun to play. It is a lot heavier than like if you played White Castle last year and you're like buying the new one from the Wii. This is another kind of game. It's like a crunchy economic game. White Castle is a little crunchy, but it's like a crunchier economical game. I love economic games. I love the shares. I love the puzzle of doing everything. I am gonna land on a 7.5 as well. Maybe like it's a bit long, but it doesn't bother me with 2. I would think that 3 players is gonna feel a bit long for me for what this game offers. But I really enjoy my play of it. If you like economic games and you are interested in seeing like this new system, I think like the card system, it's what, I said it many times now, but it's what makes the game unique and stand out for me. And that is going to be the end. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.